First, I'd like everyone to take a second and think back on my last presentation when I showed a video of a killer whale telecom and a trainer at SeaWorld. I know I portrayed myself as a SeaWorld employee, but I'm really just the average person trying to make a difference for these killer whales. The killer whale that you saw in the video actually ended up killing Don, the senior trainer that you saw working with him on February 24, 2010. Today I'm credible to talk to you on the subject of the research I've done on this topic and through my evaluation of the documentary Blackfish. SeaWorld is keeping these killer whales in captivity when it is very clear that it is affecting their health and now trainers are losing their lives over it. It is up to us to help these animals and get them back into the wild to where they belong. First, if you remember, Telecom was found at the age of 2 in the North Atlantic. He was found by what is known as whale hunters. These men had a specific strategy of how to capture these animals. They separated the baby whales and the mothers from the dominant male whales by chasing them into coves using bombs in the water. Once the whales were separated, they would encircle them by nets. After this, it only took a short while to actually capture the whale and get it onto the boat. As John Crow states, he had never seen anything like it before, and he knew he was doing something very wrong. He said it felt like taking a baby away from their mother, and the worst thing he said he's ever done was hunt Telecom in the wild. After they captured Telecom and collected the surrounding nets, they found 3 whales had died in the nets. What they decided to do next was very illegal. They decided to cut the whales open, fill them with rocks, and sink them. Also, once all the nets were collected, Telecom's family could be seen 25 yards away crying for him instead of leaving the scene. Next, Telecom was taken to Sealand, and if you remember, Sealand closed before Telecom went to SeaWorld, but the reason why Sealand closed was because of Telecom's attack on a trainer in front of a live audience. Telecom and 2 other female whales' living environment during their time at Sealand consisted of them staying in what they called modules, which were completely dark and were 20 feet across by 30 feet deep. Once the whales became larger, it was harder to get them into the modules, so they would use food deprivation, and the whales knew that if they went into the modules, they would get food. During the winter months, the whales would be in these containers from 5 in the afternoon to 7 in the morning. Sealand trainer Eric Waters said that there would be multiple points where Telecom would be completely raped, head to toe, with teeth marks from the other 2 whales ganging up on him while in these small containers. As you can see here, Telecom was completely raped head to toe, and these are other injuries caused by raping. Telecom's first attack came during his time at Sealand when a trainer, Kelty Burns, as you can see here, lost her balance, slipped into the pool, and then as she was trying to get out, Telecom took her. Eyewitnesses Corinne Cowell and Nadine Kaling watched the entire event during their visit on February 20th, 1991. There were no lawsuits drawn and no memorials for the lost life of Kelty Burns. After the incident, the local papers stated that the cause of death was due to drowning, not the fault of the whale, which we all know is a lie due to the eyewitnesses. Sealand closed after the incident, and SeaWorld still decided to purchase Telecom because they were in desperate need of a male whale to breed their female whales. When Sealand sold Telecom to SeaWorld, they were under the assumption that he would no longer be allowed to perform, and he would simply be there for visitors to admire. This did not happen, as Telecom is still performing today. To this day, there is no record of a killer whale causing any harm to any human in the wild. They live in very large families. The females have lifespans of 100+ years, and the males can live anywhere between 50 and 60 years. The adult offspring never leave their mother's side in the wild. Lauren Marino, a neuroscientist, tells us that the killer whales have a part of the brain the humans do not. A part of their brain is extended out right adjacent to their limbic system that processes emotion, as you can see here. Everything about these whales is social, the way that they communicate and the way that they stick together. SeaWorld guides misinform visitors that the killer whales only live to be 25 to 35 in the wild and live much longer in captivity, and this is proven wrong in the 1980s. They also claim that 25% of killer whales have a collapsed dorsal fin. All male whales in captivity have a collapsed dorsal fin, and only 1% of male whales are reported of having collapsed dorsal fins in the wild. As you can see here, a collapsed dorsal fin compared to a normal dorsal fin. When Telecom arrived in SeaWorld in 1992, the female whales attacked him, and because of this, he was segregated into a different area in the back and spent most of his time in isolation. Former SeaWorld trainer Samantha Berg said that none of the trainers were really scared of Telecom because they were not given the severity of what happened at Sealand. SeaWorld trainers were told that Telecom had nothing to do with the attack. The first killer whale was born in captivity on November 4th, 1998. They named her Colina, as you can see here. If you remember from earlier, the offspring never leave their mother's side in the wild. SeaWorld made a decision to remove Colina from her mother to take her to another park. Once Colina was removed, her mother stayed in the corner of the pool crying and shaking. She wasn't known for being a very vocal whale, and her vocals were so loud and lasted for so long that they decided to bring in a senior research scientist. They were reported as long-range vocals. She was trying something that no one had ever heard before and trying to find her offspring. It is truly heartbreaking to know that SeaWorld made a decision to separate a mother and a baby when they know that this never happens in the wild. And to see a mother do something that she or any killer whale has never done before in trying to find her young shows how morally wrong it is. Former SeaWorld trainers have reported that killer whales have also died in captivity due to other killer whales ramming them or hurting them because they are kept in such small spaces. Another life is almost lost when a trainer is crushed between two whales at SeaWorld San Diego. The only thing that kept his body together was his wetsuit. He has gone through multiple surgeries and now has hard wiring in his body but is still alive. Several former SeaWorld employees claim that they were not told much about the accident except that it was trainer error. Another attack happened when a trainer is playing with a whale out of the water and her foot is grabbed and taken into the water. The only thing that saved her life was a trainer in the surrounding area opened a gate which signaled to the whale that another whale was coming in, which caused her to let go. If the gate had not been opened, she most likely would not be alive today. Another life is lost when Daniel Dukes is found dead in a pool. Daniel was a young man that snuck into SeaWorld, and no one really knows how he died or how he was able to enter the park without anyone noticing him. There are 70-plus reported trainer whale incidents. Samantha Berg said that she was given no knowledge of the 70-plus incidents upon being hired by SeaWorld. Telecom's last attack happened on Dawn Branchett, which resulted in the loss of her life, as you can see Dawn here. She was taken by the arm during a SeaWorld show and eaten by Telecom. She was on a rocky edge area and she laid down to do a relationship session with him during the show. At some point, he grabbed her forearm and pulled her in the water and killed her. Telecom's attack on Kelty and Dawn were exactly 20 years apart. SeaWorld originally reported that Dawn fell into the pool and it had nothing to do with the whale. Witnesses came out to refute the information because they were there and saw exactly what had happened during the show. After this, SeaWorld reported that it was Dawn's fault because of her ponytail and used this picture to claim that. SeaWorld told courts that they did not believe Telecom to be dangerous. It is very clear that SeaWorld is going against everything that is right for these killer whales and for their trainers. Killer whales are social animals that do not need to be kept in captivity alone and isolated. Their lifespans are much longer in the wild than in captivity. In the wild, their dorsal fins do not collapse like they do in captivity. They do not attack people in the wild, and they do not attack each other in the wild like they have when in captivity. It is time that we release these animals so that they can live the rest of their lives happy and in their natural environment. Some might argue that if they were released into the wild, they would not know how to survive because some of them have been in captivity for so long, and a lot of them were born in captivity. The young ones will have no problem surviving because they're young, they're healthy, and they have their natural instincts and will know how to survive. The older ones, like Telecom, should be released back into the wild so that they can live out their natural lives in a large pool. I ask you this question: if you were a 12,000-pound animal and you had the choice between a swimming pool or a large ocean, which one would you pick? I think most of us would agree on a large ocean. These animals are unhappy and do not deserve the lifestyle that we have put them in. So I'm asking you to join me in signing the petition to get these killer whales back into their natural habitat. All you have to do is go to change.org and type in "free killer whales from captivity" and sign the petition. There were 8 people in our class survey that said they would not sign the petition, and I hope I have shown you the severity and magnitude of the situation so that you will now sign it. The more people that continue to sign these petitions, the more likely the bill will be passed that has already been written up by Richard Bloom of Santa Monica. Please join me in signing this petition and helping these animals back into the wild. Thank you.